Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's tool review is going to be from a company that you've probably never heard of. I've never heard of them before purchasing these, and that is No Drop Tools LLC. I think that this is the only tool that they manufacture or they make or sell or however they do it. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm not sure. I know that they do offer some different sizes in the same exact tool, and what I have here is the 6-inch combo set, and these are holding screwdrivers. So they're for removing and starting screws. So they're not made to be a 100% screwdriver. They're made to be in that position of whenever you need to remove a screw or you need to get one started, just to keep you from dropping it or things like that. And basically I found these while going down an Amazon rabbit hole of tools. Roger Cito had suggested to me about the quick wedge screwdriver. He said that he really liked it for receptacle and switch cover slotted screws. He said that it worked really well for him. You can't hardly ever lose a screw whenever you use it, which I normally use the Vera 5.5 with that laser tip on it. That works really well for those screws as well. And ultimately these came up while I was looking at that quick wedge, and I thought that they might be a useful tool. These aren't going to be for everybody. Not everybody's going to need these, and I'm not going to use them probably all that often, but I think it's a tool that's one of those, handy when you need it type things, and they don't take up a lot of space. Because ultimately, that's why I went ahead and bought these instead of the quick wedge, was because the quick wedge was a whole screwdriver. It had the handle, the whole 9 yards, so it would have taken up the same amount of space as this Vera screwdriver here. I didn't really want to take up that kind of space in my bag for a tool that might only get used very often, once in a while, not very often. These are very small. I could easily just put these in a pouch up in here with my spring tools and other tools, those tools that you keep in your bag, because this is my all-in-one, take in places, don't know what I'm running into. So these are the kind of tools like the Icon, flex ratchet. I don't use that every day, but man, I'm glad I've got it whenever I need it to get into some spaces. Well, sometimes these are going to come in handy in the same way, so I thought I'd just go ahead and show them to you guys. It's not going to be a tool for everybody, but maybe you guys don't know that they're out there and it could be something that you could use, so I just thought I'd share them with you. So let's go ahead and dive in and get a closer look at these. So what you get in this set is $27 on Amazon, and this is their 6-inch combo set. You get the P6, which the 6 stands for 6-inch, and then the P is for Phillips. You can see this tip is more of a angled tip, and then you also get an S6, which is 6-inch and then slotted, and you can see how that looks more like a slotted screwdriver. But again, these are screw holders, not screwdrivers. And ultimately how they work is you've got this wedge effect. So this is where you can see this little white pin is in all the way. This is where you would insert it into the screw at this point. And as you push it into the screw, you can see if I push that back, this extends out, and then this opens up, and that's basically going to wedge itself inside that fastener to hold it into place. So if I think I have a 632 screw here. I've got it in that closed position, so if I'm going to go in and get it, I'm going to push that in. That's going to wedge out, and now it's going to hold that screw. And it's pretty stout. I'm actually pretty surprised by it. And for the most part, I could really shake it, and it's not going to go anywhere. Now, obviously, you can magnetize your screwdriver, or you can use a bit extender with a magnet on it or something like that. But maybe you've had some times where you're pulling that screw out and you just tip that off your magnetic bit. You hit the screw on something and it just falls straight off. I think this is a little bit more secure than that in some cases, but then in some cases it might not be. For the most part, as long as you use a smaller type screw, I think that's what these are made for, because the longer screw that you get, obviously you're going to have more extended out. It becomes a little bit hairy, where I can start flinging it and then it will eventually work itself off. So not that it still won't do these long screws, because odds are, if you're purposely trying to save a screw and you're pulling it out, you're probably not going to sling your wrist like I just did. But the shorter the screw, the better. It definitely works really well on like little bitty, fasteners like this here. I think this is maybe a number 8 wood screw. I think it would hold on to it no matter what you do to it. I could sit here and really, really get on it, and it is not going to come off there. So small machine screws, smaller screws, I think that's where these things, kind of hit their stride. I'm thinking of, because that's what made me think about it, is I've been working in car dashes, multiple times, changing out a radio, doing something like that, and there's always these little bitty screws that when you drop them, they fall behind another piece of dash that you weren't planning on taking out. That can become a hassle, or dryers, or washing machines, any kind of appliance. There's some screws that this would be handy just to be on the safe side, to know that you're not going to lose them. And then again, to release it, all I've got to do is press in this white thing. That pushes that forward and closes that up, and now I've got the screw that's safety. Now, as far as sizes go, they say that it does number 4 to 1/4 inch. I'm assuming that's on their slotted sizes. I couldn't really find anything on the Phillips, but as far as Phillips goes, here's a Phillips number 3, and it's definitely, not going to do anything with that. It's just way too big. I even tried the slotted, since that's such a wide gap, and it will kind of grip, but it's definitely not going to hold it. You're going to drop that. So Phillips 3 is definitely a no-go. Drywall screw here, which would typically be around a Phillips 2, it actually does hold that, okay. I could imagine that if I really got on it, it's kind of like that longer screw that would eventually come off, but I think Phillips 2 is kind of pushing it, but I would say you can go there, but anything smaller than that, I mean, it holds on to it extremely well. Again, like this little slotted metal screw here, it's got that hex head, but it's also got that slot in it. It will hold on to that for probably all day and then some, because it's such a small screw. It's not hanging out real far, and again, you're going to be careful as you're pulling it out. That's the whole purpose of using these, so I can't imagine you're ever going to be slinging. But just to give you an idea, I could move that around all I want, and that's not going to come off. So again, I think it can be useful. As far as size goes, it's kind of like a number 2 pencil. It even kind of has the same ridges and everything on it. That's what it feels like to me in my hand. If I had to explain to you what it felt like, it feels like a number 2 pencil. The handle is made out of nylon, so it is non-conductive, or it's nylon coated. I'm assuming this metal goes all the way down in there, so this is conductive, but the handle's not. So if that's important to you, if you're looking for something that does this, but you work in small electronics or something like that, the handle's at least non-conductive. But again, these are screw holding screwdrivers. So again, if you're in a small space, and I'm just going to use this as an example, this is obviously not something I would use these for, but just for the sakes of demonstration, you want to still use your regular screwdriver up until the point when you need this to start or to remove a screw. So you basically want to take your screwdriver, get it to where it's loose to the point where you could basically, if you really wanted to, go in there with your fingers and get that out if you could reach it, and then you'll take the screwdriver and insert it in, get it wedged, and then start to twist that out until you get it all the way out, and then pull that screw to safety, take it off. And then now, once I get ready to put it back in, that's when I'd take it by my hand, reinstall it, play operation again, get the screw started, push in the pin and release it, and then go back with my screwdriver and finish torquing that down. Because again, they're not made to be screwdrivers. If you get to the point where you're actually using it to apply torque, you're going to damage these. So again, I think that they're going to be useful in some situations. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think about them. But again, I'm just picturing using them in places where, I just don't want to drop a screw, because it's going to cause me more work. And they're small. They'll fit in my bag easy. It's not really any extra effort for me to carry them with me. And I think I'm going to find some uses for them. But are they going to be an everyday tool? Are they going to work in every situation? Definitely not. But I thought that they might be useful, so I went ahead and picked me up a set. So yeah, guys, that's the No Drop Tools LLC. This is the 6-inch combo set. Again, are they going to be 100% used by everybody? Probably not. But maybe if you're like me and you've been pulling a little screw out of a car that you've worked on, the dash screws, or you've changed out a radio, or you're working in an appliance, or somewhere. I think it's just nice to have an option where maybe a magnet might not work all that well, or maybe you just need to be able to get something into a small space to be able to twist it with your fingers like that. Again, it's not a tool for everybody's going to need, but maybe you've been out there thinking, man, I'd like to have something like that. So I just thought I'd share it with you guys. I hope that it was useful in some way. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think about these. Also, again, if you've got the quick wedge screwdrivers, let me know your feedback on those as well. I'm really interested to hear about that. But hope it was useful. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.